So men are slowly giving up and nobody seems to care. We got a video by Moon. Let's check it out.
More and more men are giving up. Giving up on relationships, careers, and society as a whole. Resentment is growing, unemployment is becoming rampant, and keeping your head above water seems almost impossible for many men today. This is leading to more men than ever dropping out.
Listen, before we even get to this video, don't give up, man. God is there. So don't ever give up on yourself, don't ever give up on your dreams, and don't ever give up on God, because God is there with you. You're never alone.
The society entirely. And it's not just that. Men are becoming infantilized. With terms like adulting now becoming normal, it's clear that something ugly is happening that needs to be addressed. We live in such a strained, unnatural environment that is bound to start to wear on society. But men in particular are battling to keep up and are slowly giving up. Giving up on dreams, giving up on trying, and giving up on doing anything constructive. And for a large part, it's really not their fault. As this trend isn't just a personal struggle, but a societal issue that we must urgently address. So why is this happening? And why is
I understand what everybody's saying, like men are giving up, because, you know what I mean, it is hard to be a guy. Realistically speaking, guys, like to be a guy, it's very difficult.
Why has it gotten so bad in 2024? On the surface, it's a long and complicated story. Life has never been simple for any human, and objectively speaking, for men in the West today, it's never been better. We have all the technology we need, food delivered to your door with the tap of a finger, dating readily available to anyone with a simple swipe. Any products, items, or experiences that you want can be had with the tap of your phone. But over time,
chat, I be abusing, and when I say abusing, I be abusing DoorDash, chat. Like almost every single day. I want food, doo-doo, my door immediately. Yo, y'all be getting DoorDash or no? I be eating it almost every day, guys.
Readily available to anyone with a simple swipe. Any products, items, or experiences that you want can be had with the tap of your phone. But over time, all of these comforts of life destroys the importance and necessity of struggle, without any value placed on higher goals. Where there just is no reason to care, means there's no reason for people to properly live or have the will to achieve greatness. Which is probably why 40% of young men aged 18 to 45 meet the criteria for depression, and 49% of 18 to 23-year-olds have had a thought of passing themselves in the past 2 weeks alone.
Damn. Yo, chat, that's super sad. Yo, chat, y'all ever been depressed before? Like, you ever been like, damn, like, I don't want to live? I've only been suicidal like one time in my life, chat. And it was like, it was for a dumb reason, like in like freshman year in high school.
We're seeing the symptoms of this problem everywhere. The sapping away of our vision and ambition permeates in all aspects of modern society today. Our culture, architecture, relationships, bodies and minds. Past civilizations before us have always placed their emphasis on beauty, wisdom and logic for all the population to see, with great town squares, bustling with art, life and community. These things were placed above all else as the bedrock of their societies, laying out a code of honor and struggle in its people to achieve greatness. Comforts were shown in art and culture, but as an aspiration for achieving something great, for following your mastery. But today our cities are mostly devoid of all of this character, and instead they're marked out by the most cost-efficient, bland and sterile designs to facilitate a simpler self-motivated purpose. It's why people flock all over the world to a handful of remaining cities that retain their centuries-old charm to feel and experience the character of bygone societies that were motivated by higher ideals. Ideals greater than our modern two-dimensional ways of thinking, with a prioritization of comfort, lust and opulence and flashy materialism over individual excellence and great—
Nah, chat, that's facts. A lot of people, they just prioritize these four things right here.
Prioritization of comfort, lust,
comfort, aka you sleeping too much. And funny enough, all these things that the guys listing, they're all sins. Comfort,
flashy,
lust, up, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Opulence, whatever.
Materialism.
These are all like sins. Idolization, lust, like materialism, all sins.
For individual excellence and greater community, we're now reeling in the aftermath, becoming instead a generation of mandated mediocrity. And does this explain why men today seem to struggle more than ever while seemingly having more than ever? America in particular is not actually in a recession. In fact, on paper—
Chat, you know what my uncle told me one time, guys? Yo, my uncle was like, back in the day, depression wasn't even a thing because they had to go to war. Or something, or like he had like, so my parents, so my uncles and stuff, they're from Africa. He was like, depression. He would start laughing in my face. He was like, depression? What are you talking about? He almost slapped me because he was like, bro, depression. If I don't hunt, I won't be able to survive tomorrow because I gotta eat. Like, it was literally like he was super serious. He was like, I don't have time to think about my feelings. Like, I gotta go hunt this chicken or else I'm gonna die. Like, like it was that serious.
And does this explain why men today seem to struggle more than ever while seemingly having more than ever? America in particular is not actually in a recession. In fact, on paper, the economy looks like the best it's been in a while. Unemployment has dropped, GDP is up, but what the people are actually experiencing is a completely different story. We can see this in a study by the University of Michigan on consumer sentiments, which gathers data based on how consumers feel about the current state of finances. In 2022, it dropped to an all-time low. Prices of our average daily needs like gas and food have increased in unbearable percentages.
Literally.
In contrast, salary increase.
Hey, not for long. We got Donald Trump back in office, so you know what that means. Groceries are going back down. W Trump in the chat, man. W Trump in the chat. Trump's gonna make America great again.
It is in a complete giant picket fence.
All right, where we
to
at?
cripple American same essentials
Budgets.
inflation.
By the
Where we at?
University of Michigan on consumer sentiments,
W
which gathers
Trump,
data
chat, W
based on how
Trump.
consumers feel about the current state of finances. In 2022, it dropped to an all-time low. Prices of our average daily needs like gas and food have increased in unbearable percentages. In contrast, salary increases do not match, putting a high strain on budgets.
Inflation is showing no signs of slowing down as Americans pay over
inflation,
$1,000 a month more on the same essentials we were buying 3 years ago. Nothing's changed but price. The latest consumer price index for March showing basic necessities like our food.
Oh my goodness, chat. No wonder car insurance is so crazy. Chat, look, car insurance is up by 22%. Guys, I got a friend, one of my good friends. Bro, he said his car insurance was $800. Chat, $800. Bro, I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not Mr. Beast. What the heck? Bro, I'm not Mr. Beast. Like, when he told me that, my jaw literally dropped. Oh, ads. I'm about to get used to premium.
Americans pay over.
Bro, when I seen that, I almost threw up. I was like, yo, that's not even funny. Chat, where are we at? All right, there we go.
To cripple Americans' wallets with higher prices.
Our wages are actually down against inflation since Biden took office. So not only are prices soaring, but our wages, at least if you measure hourly wages, are not keeping up at all.
Keeping your head above water has become the new normal instead of owning a home with a white picket fence. The rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer, with the middle class disintegrating completely. All the knowledge of the past of just going to college, getting a job, and buying a home immediately is just completely irrelevant for anyone working and living in 2024. Universities are skyrocketing in prices to absurd levels. The housing market is in a complete giant bubble. Everyone's sending out job applications more and more, all while using these automated testing systems, applying up to 100 jobs a day, and still
crazy, chat. I never thought getting a job was hard until chat. My brother was like, bro, and my cousin, he was like, bro, getting a job is not as easy as you think it is. Cause chat, when I was a junior in high school, I tried to get my first job. They literally treated me like complete dog crap. Like, I applied for 100 jobs. Only 2 of them even responded to me, chat. 2 of them responded to me. That's it. And I'm like, bro, what? 2 people? Only 2? The job market has gotten out of control.
What did they give them?
They can give them
repeatedly tell us that they can't find any workers for their companies. And the results of this are clear. People are drifting towards more unfulfilling jobs, or just not even having a job at all. While the rich
listen, chat, I'm a victim of it. I Uber literally everywhere.
Buy up resources, real estate, and everything that used to be the cornerstones of the middle class that is now just an investment hidden through an offshore bank account for some giant investment fund.
Basically, what they want to do is create a nation of renters. BlackRock coming in and giving them more money than the house is worth.
How much more did they give them?
They can give them, 30% above.
Really?
Which is money.
And then they just
it's
lease those
BlackRock.
homes out.
And they lease them out. It's part of this idea that home ownership and automobile ownership and all of these things, these legacy systems that people want to get rid of. And they go, rent a house, use Uber, Lyft, whatever, You know, you don't need
Chat, now that's a W scam right there. That's a W. That's a W scam. Did y'all just hear what he just said? Y'all just heard what he just said? He said the plan is to get them to just rent for the rest of their lives. Meaning they end up paying them more than the house is worth over like a long period of time. That's low-key a W scam.
ship and all of these things,
low-key a
these
dumb
legacy
scam.
systems that people want to get rid of. And they go, rent a house, use Uber, Lyft, whatever. You know, you don't need to own. What does owning do for you? That's that famous article, you'll own nothing and be happy.
Right.
And because of this, all saving plans for regular people are halted because living
What?
paycheck to paycheck means there just isn't enough
Yo,
for
chat, are y'all living in a house or an apartment right now? Are you guys in a house or an apartment?
savings plan. And whilst there is still some hope to dig your way out, for most this does begin a damaged path. People end up working in a job that's not in their field, something that they hate to do every day, and
that's
eliminates the
crazy.
experience they need for the job in their field. And so even the experience they are getting is just completely useless for getting back on track. In effect, their now entry-level position is further deviating them from becoming lawyers, psychologists, or whichever career
crazy.
path they studied for. And if the middle class is experiencing this, then the lower earners are feeling this even more. The jobs they once had a chance of landing now go to the middle class, while they get hit a bump lower, which is putting millions of people in dire straits. They face working twice as hard for minimum wage, juggling between jobs, partaking in the gig economy with
Yo.
absolutely no security, all with an extreme
Chat, that's super sad, man.
pressure to keep up with daily expenses in a completely overpriced megacity. And the truth is, both middle and lower earners are now taking a huge hit to their egos. They feel disrespected through no fault of their own, as no man wants to feel like a failure. They don't want to feel like they're not providing or on their destiny. Imagine
Facts.
putting in the hours and effort to get a degree and then having
Facts.
to take a job that's not even within the
100%
field you studied
facts.
for. Well, this is just regular life for most people nowadays.
Like, chat, you know the worst feeling in the world? The worst feeling is, especially as a man, not feeling like you can contribute or help out like your family. Like just being a bum, basically. That is literally the worst feeling.
It's making men feel incredibly depressed and isolated. They watch all this stuff on social media, they see people flexing the Rolexes on their Instagram stories. Meanwhile, they're struggling to survive, living a life they absolutely hate. And when friends and family ask about it, they suffer the humiliation of explaining why they had to take what was available. Even though it
That's
isn't
tough. Yo, chat, what jobs, if you guys work a job, what job do you guys work? What jobs do you guys work? What jobs do y'all work?
humiliating at all, and they're doing what they can to survive, it definitely takes a huge effect on their mental health.
These ads are getting out of hand.
Especially as it wasn't that long ago, where it was actually normal to enter the workforce with a mentor who would show you the ropes and encourage you and push you to learn more. Starting at the bottom didn't seem so bad because there was an opportunity to grow and reap more rewards, but this imperative step is slowly slipping away. Companies of prestige have forgotten the generation with no experience, and for many companies, this is what they want. This is actually the ideal scenario, where they have people so
What'd y'all say? Y'all said I wanna be a lawyer? Yo, lawyer is W job. Lawyer is W job. Lawyers pay a lot. I want to be a professional boxer. W, fear. W job. W job. Yo, chat. What do you guys want to be when you guys grow up? If you guys are young, what do you guys want to be when you grow up?
desperate, so in need of experience, that they can treat their workers like absolute trash. Since the 1980s, testosterone levels have dropped more than 50%, and yet we're told to ignore it. Why? Because there's a
GGs.
coordinated effort to suppress
Nah, W physique.
masculinity and turn men into something they were never meant to be. This decline is no accident. We're constantly exposed to harmful chemicals in our food and everyday products, bombarded with estrogenic chemicals from plastics, junk food, and sedentary lifestyles, which is why testosterone levels have been declining for decades, with a 17% drop
Oh
among
my
60-year-olds in
gosh.
2004 compared to 1987. Sperm count and strength in men are also decreasing exponentially, with a 32.5% decrease
Yo, chat. This is why you gotta hit the gym, guys. Gym every day or every other day, bare minimum.
in mean sperm concentration in the last 50 years. But here's the good news, there are ways to fight back, and one of the most effective solutions that I found is our sponsor Black Forest's
I
testosterone,
don't
which
care. I don't care.
I've noticed a huge
Jeez,
difference in my energy
L
levels,
sponsor.
strength, sleep, and overall well-being. And by supporting our sponsors,
L
it plays a
sponsor. Get
The
to
bills is, as I said, the
Is
U.S.
this still-
Those
Bro, nobody cares about the sponsor.
this job, especially if you're not getting any experience. And in most cases, if you go into the gig economy, absolutely no security either, all for minimum wage. There's even a new term called quietly quitting, where you do the bare minimum of your job to the point that you're almost rendered useless and you get fired or simply quit. The fact that this term even exists shows that attention is desperately needed to solve this problem. And while this is happening, it's becoming more and more common for both partners in a household to be living the same life, or even with most males' partners actually being the breadwinner. And whilst this isn't necessarily a problem
That's
at all,
crazy.
it is leading to some weird modern problems in the household.
Chat, would you guys like want to make more money than your, let's say you're a girl? Let's say you're a guy, would you want to make more money than your girlfriend?
Men with families are actually switching their roles with
Or
their
would you want her to like make all the money and like you stay at home?
wives, except they're not actually doing what their wives would do if they were to stay at home.
When you look at what I guess in Britain is called NEET, N-E-E-T, do you say that also in Australia, neither employed nor in education or training? When you look at that huge group of well over 6 million prime age men, the story they're telling about their lives is really pretty devastating. It's pretty distressing. They basically don't do civil society. There's almost no worship.
Just deciding to give up, because instead of facing the hardships of having a job, it just seems so much easier to escape, whether it be tamely being online, playing video games all day, or hiding behind doing chores at home to show they still have a purpose and are doing their best.
Yo, chat, you guys ever what's it call it? Never mind, I was gonna say something crazy.
Point being that for many men in 2024, if they're gonna be disrespected and feel worthless, they may as well choose the easy way out than a battle. If respect had a currency on how it would affect your life directly, you would see a different picture. A man with a job with high pressure, long hours, and doing something that makes him feel degraded would be worth say $100, but staying at home playing games and escaping, all while being with the people he loves, is probably worth $200 because of how it affects him. This explains why more and more men are deciding to drop out of society rather than face it head on, as it just seems to be the easier path. If it's a choice between two paths, one that offers little satisfaction while the other provides comfort, it's easy to see why men are going this route. But the thing is, this is a terrible mistake. And this is creating problems that we've never seen before. If there is no emphasis or any facilitation of the need to aspire to something greater and the game seems rigged to most who are playing it, it's hardly a surprise record numbers of men are dropping out and giving up on the game entirely.
Yo, listen, chat, don't drop out, man. Don't drop out. Keep playing the game.
The problem is that there's a huge group of men, roughly about 7 million in America between the ages of 25 and 55, who are not working and are actively not looking for work. Now, COVID certainly had a hand in accelerating these figures. One question posed to these dropouts was how many of these men were on pain medication, and almost half of these men admitted to taking pain medication daily. And aside from those who desperately need it, these figures could indicate that men are aimlessly numbing themselves to their new reality. And this is great for society, as people don't have to deal with this huge problem.
Oh my, Chad, you guys take any drugs? You guys take any drugs? Please don't. Please, everybody say no. Unless it's prescribed by the doctor. Chat, do not take any substances.
And what's even more shocking is that 40% of these men do have some kind of degree.
What sort of men are in this group? Demographically, education, family structure, ethnicity, who makes up this group?
Surprisingly large, representation of guys with college or even college degrees. 40% of this group has at least some college, and as I recall, about a fifth or a sixth are college grads.
The decision to be in this state is closely related to changing times. We've already discussed the effects of brain rot in another upload, which disabled
Brain rot? Yo, Chad, y'all watch Brain Rot? I know, Fear, I know you be watching Brain Rot. Fear, I know you be watching Brain Rot. Yo, Alex, this guy Fear, I think he's like 12 years old. I think he loves watching Brain Rot. He has to.
problem solving in Generation Z and has already presented problems in finding jobs. They are quick to quit at the first difficult task and move on to find something else, but what happens when options run dry and they find themselves simply stuck in limbo? Giving up seems to be the next step, and accepting that is easy when they're discouraged by the situation. Working off of surveys, the data compiled indicates that these men are not only not working, but they're cutting themselves off from their communities, or there's no incentivization for them to even have any community in the first place. They're hiding out because going out would mean meeting new people who might oppose their lifestyles. It makes it uncomfortable. Why leave when you can just aimlessly watch brain rot content and numb yourself with weed or pain medication and stay inside, in the warm comfort of home? And any sexual needs you have can be satisfied with pixels on a screen. This lifestyle is increasingly becoming more and more normal.
Chat, if you do all those three things, repeat, you're literally gonna be depressed. Bro watches Brain Rot, 100%. Fear, I know you be watching Brain Rot. I do be watching Brain Rot, but I'm not 12 years old yet. Old man Jenkins. Yo, Fear, you don't want to get me angry, bro. What I tell you about calling me old? Chat, I'm not old. I'm not, like, yo, for the...
Hyper, baby. It's a food delivery service
Chat,
in your...
I'm not old. I don't want... Yo, listen. I'm about to... Rules for the chat. I'm not Unc. I'm not old man Jenkins. None of that. I'm not Unc. All right? Let's get back to it.
Dollars a
For surveys, the is that men don't want to be this way. It's a horrible lifestyle, it's depressing, it's atomizing. What this really is just a coping mechanism or a form of self-defense against a society that's becoming increasingly hostile to these men. Up until recently, the problem has been invisible. These figures weren't shown in any statistics or surveys because they slipped through the cracks until very recently. So why did they slip through the cracks? Well, it's easy to see. They simply don't fit the victim criteria. Some have degrees, they're in the prime of their lives, and it was their choice to quit. It's easily overlooked and only comes to light as the numbers rise. Nicholas Upstart wrote a book called Men Without Work and has since exposed and addressed the problems in his book. He says he is trained to look for hidden in plain sight problems, which is how he stumbled upon this issue. You see, these men are not causing trouble, at least for now, and they don't seem to be drawing any attention to themselves. On the contrary, they keep to themselves. So surveys and statistics just don't include them at all. They don't even register on the scale, and people in society think this is a joke issue. And it's also reasonable to conclude that some of these men may work, but in the underground economy. Work like formal cash jobs, or even shady illegal ways of making money. But of course, this is just a minor portion of these men. We need to address the problem head on. How is the situation getting this bad? These men have completely lost their purpose in life. All of their duty, their hopes, their responsibilities, their own dignity and value. It's being completely decimated at the moment. And we're seeing this with the form of radicalization online, growing hatred and division, and a general apathy towards society as a whole. And the longer this is ignored, the harder it's going to be addressed down the line. More men today than ever feel disconnected, disillusioned, and left behind by a world that seems increasingly indifferent to their struggles. While GDP numbers and employment stats may sound like an easy, good solution on paper, especially to government bureaucracies, it will never really fix the reality of the situation for normal people. The real challenge we face today in the West is to find purpose and meaning again to have any reason to even want to participate and achieve greatness in society. We should focus on creating environments where people can thrive, where beauty, philosophy, and higher noble pursuits are actively encouraged by the cities and countries that we inhabit, which would give millions of men a reason to care again.
Facts.